Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and we have a ton of information to get to you today. So I'm just going to jump right at it. Amy Fulmer, the grief goddess, is back with us today. We're going to go over some really interesting things. So we'll be right back with Amy Fulmer. Hi, Amy. Great to see you again. I see you have been a very busy little bee.
Yeah.
Our very first link was actually something you were going to try to send me, but we, of course, when we go there, it is the classic story of page not found.
Yeah. So Lisa, what I wanted to say was my new code is error 404. I mean, that needs to be like a movie or something, like error 404. That's all I get when I start sending you stuff during the week. There we go.
It's crazy.
It's like, are you kidding me? So everybody, listen, this is getting so obvious. They are in panic like no one's business. The panic is
Tell everybody about what you experienced over the weekend. You're in
okay.
Maricopa County.
Yep. So for those of you that don't know, I live in Maricopa County it's a suburb like Scottsdale, suburb of Phoenix. So we have Centurylink internet. So it just kind of like went out over the weekend. And so I was trying to get to their tech support. Of course, there's no tech support over the weekend, which to me in this day and age of everything is 24/7, to be a major carrier in a major suburb, to be like just lights out, no one's home. So I put in a trouble ticket, tried to do some online chat. That was an absolute disaster. It tested all my patience. And so I had an appointment for a guy to come out on Monday morning. Well, I got a kind of an internet text email at 6:30 in the morning on Monday, which was yesterday. And they said, well, we had a system-wide outage. And what was so weird was you would think if you would call the main number, this is CenturyLink, they're huge. They would say, hey, for those of you living in Maricopa County, we are experiencing a system-wide outage. There was crickets, you guys, nothing. And internally, one hand did not know what the other hand was doing. It was kind of like I got a feeling like, is this the beginning of a grid down? I did not think that this was some random event. Listen, I could be exaggerating, but for those of you that, I'm just going to say this, I was able to switch over from my internet to roaming on my tablet because I have a tablet and I do pay a little extra for roaming. So I was able to keep my email going and look at, look at Twitter and just the basics because I can't read on my phone. It's just too small for my tired eyes. So at least I had the information coming in while my internet was down here at my house. So for those of you that if you can't read on your phone and you have a tablet or something, or you have roaming, you can get off your Wi-Fi and then switch over to your roaming. And during the next few months, when we're going to see biblical things, and I do believe they're going to be biblical, you really don't want to be in a situation where you're completely, if the internet goes down or your carrier goes down, maybe you can get on some kind of mobile roaming. I'm with Verizon on my tablet, which is left over from when I was in LA. So that was able to pick up nationwide roaming. Don't ask me how this works. I'm way in over my head. I mean, if I could work a computer, I'd be dangerous. But the point is, guys, I went the whole weekend not being able to do anything on my other aspects of work or get least information. And it was a little freaky. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that, we know what's going on in Arizona and in Maricopa County specifically,
Right?
and they happen to have this big internet outage. So
Yep.
the fight is real.
No, the fight is real. The fight is real. And one thing I want to say before we get into the content today, you guys, I know everyone's really struggling. Those of you mentioned Penny Kelly in the chat and Cliff. It is going to get intense the next few months. I do not disagree, but I want to start the show because we're going to unload a lot of heavy stuff. Two things I want to say. Number one, if any of you guys have any normies that are kind of starting to look at what's going on in Afghanistan, the sentiment I'm hearing around mainstream, more like what I call Reagan Democrats, a lot of them are mortified about Joey and what he's doing. I've literally heard people say, I'm sorry I voted for this man. So if you can forward these to some of those people that are now awakening, because I know you guys that follow Lisa are so informed. I mean, we're in a little bit of a, I'm preaching to the choir with you guys, but keep these and send them on because the Great Awakening's happening. And Lisa, I do believe with you, we've spoken about this. This has to get so bad and so in your face that it's painful. This is the only way that we're going to capture the people that are not awake. And we need more masses on our side if we're going to affect change and retake back our country. And again, we can't leave it all up to Trump. We can't. It's not his job to
Yeah,
it's all of
I
ours.
was just really frustrated. I was just going through Twitter right before we jumped on, and very few people are talking about what's going on in Haiti. There's earthquakes, which are causing tsunamis. There's a huge death toll. I don't see America sending planes and troops over to fill them with, refugees from Haiti to bring them over and try to find places for them to stay here. No, instead, we're flying planes over and filling them with Afghanistan people. And I don't see other countries flying over and getting people from Afghanistan. No
Yes.
one's helping Haiti. America is flying over and getting people from Afghanistan. None of this is making sense to me.
Oh, Lisa, it's so upside down. And you're absolutely right. The Haitian people, my heart, because I've lived through Northridge earthquake was about a 6.2. I was in LA. I thought I was going to die. Literally thought I was going to die. My building came down. The Haitian people are so beautiful. And they would love to be here, as would the Cubans. Why aren't we letting them come in and celebrate democracy? But yet we are scheduled to bring in 30,000. The Pentagon yesterday set up a program. They are bringing over 30,000 minimum of Pakistani refugees. These people don't speak English. They have nothing.
Did you see the pictures of the planes full of only fighting age men?
Yes.
Where are the women and children?
Oh, no. Women and children? Oh, no, Lisa. You walk behind your man. You don't vote. You don't talk. You get raped.
Well, I'm fully aware of all that. But what my point is, like, are these sleeper cells coming in instead?
You think?
That's the whole thing. I mean, I don't know. I know
I know it's very
we're going
grim.
to talk about other things, but
Yeah, we are. So, but anyway, what I want to tell you guys is we're going to have to start looking at some really ugly stuff. But this is the deal. The more we know the truth, like with the work that we're doing here, the more we can see clearly. Because when the system crumbles, and it will crumble, we need people like us that are thinking clearly to put our country back together again and take it back. That's what this is about. And so if we can all make it through this intact, healthy mentally and physically to the best of our abilities, then we can rebuild our communities and our country. That's where I think this is going. So let's start, Lisa, on the content. Okay. First, we have a little video. And we're going to start with, this is just lovely. This is about Arizona. And we're going to start with this. It's a short video clip for the MSNBC.
I feel it looks like we might have maybe two sets of documents coming out. Let's start first with what looks like a preliminary report on the audit.
So we've been told that after closing up shop a few weeks ago, Cyber Ninjas and Friends are preparing a draft report to send to the Senate sometime this week. And we would get a copy of this only after the Senate has time to review it. And hopefully, we've been told that that's going to be very quickly. So we'll see, but it's getting closer to actually learning what the Cyber Ninjas say they learned about our election.
Do we know if they're going to sort of have a hearing, a setting where they sort of walk people through the report, or are they just going to email it to reporters?
We don't know that yet, but in the past they have had a few hearings on this topic where they've presented some preliminary results. And so we're assuming that we're going to see something like that when the results are ready.
And then we don't know also, there's a lot of things we don't know, preliminary versus final, and what details are still going to be worked out, like what makes something preliminary, and then why not just wait till the whole thing? But do you have any sense of why this week? Why preliminary and why this week?
Well, there is a discussion that this will never be a final report unless they get the routers from the county and certain passwords they need for the voting machines, which we've talked about before in previous videos. They say until they have that and until they can investigate the machines and the routers, then it won't be a final report. But other than that, this is what we're going to get from their months-long review of our ballots. And so I'm considering this the final report unless something changes where they're able to get access to more information.
And that would come from the courts, which takes us to the potential second set of documents that could be forthcoming. A lower court said that the Cyber Ninjas needed to give up documents. That's being appealed. Where does that stand now?
Well, an advocacy group called American Oversight sued Cyber Ninjas in the Senate for documents, as well as the Arizona Republic filed a similar suit looking for anything that the Cyber Ninjas and contractors have communicated about the audit as it happened. And this would include financial information, but also just the procedures and the communications they had about who was involved. It would give us a little bit more insight into who was actually running the audit behind the scenes. And the American Oversight case went to the appeals court, who said they don't immediately have to produce those documents like the lower court said. And so we're looking at another hearing on that case on Wednesday. And on the Arizona Republic's case, we have an upcoming case as well, I think in a few weeks, that's going to look just oral arguments. So that case is a little bit farther behind. Both are aimed at the same type of documents, but a little bit different.
So Wednesday, there might be a little more discussion as to whether, you might get a sense on when documents might be released. Jen, I know you're busy covering this and many other things. Thanks for taking the time out to give us this update.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, so you guys, sorry, I've got another clip from MSNBC. This is from the Arizona Republic. Jen and Richard are local reporters, like right here, right on the ground. So I liked it because this was very drilled down. Disappointingly enough, this is caught up in a morass of the legal system. I'm going to go with Karen Fan. She is lining up everything to go to the Supreme Court, and she's not leaving any stone unturned legally, you guys. I'm disappointed why they can't just come out and say, Trump had this many votes, Biden had this many votes. I thought that's what was going to happen. Clearly, the longer they stall, it's so obvious now to the world who won. I mean, it's completely obvious.
Well, and we know that, Mike Lindell came out with his cyber symposium and did show the numbers clearly, I thought.
Yes.
I know that he was not only physically attacked, but they had, hacking issues and all that kind of stuff. But everybody thinks, that's a one-sided or, what would the word
conspiracy, Lisa? Tinfoil had a conspiracy? Yes. Exactly. Well, okay, so where do we stand on this? We're going to have to go through this morass. I do not think that Karen Fan is going to come out this week and say, preliminary, Trump won. I think she's being well, she's already admitted that her life has been threatened on multiple occasions. She's had white powder sent to her office in envelopes. Her family's under attack. I mean, this is a dangerous time for the people that are fighting for truth in Arizona, and she's sticking by the letter of the law, you guys. But here's the deal. All the other states are watching. They are watching this, and they're not going to jump in till we get clearance here and prove the truth. And then all the other states are going to come in, and I think we're going to have 50 states audited. This is going to be part of the Great Awakening. This is going to be part of what our normie friends are going to have to see. We've been telling them, but guess what, guys? They're going to have to hear it, but not from us. They're going to have to see it with their own eyes.
Well, and then it's going to go all over the world, because when it hits 50 states and people realize it happened in America, and then they realize, oh my gosh, these are the same machines that are used all over the world.
Exactly. And then, you guys, everything is connected. See, because while this little narrative is playing out over here, we have the border crisis narrative. We have the Senate Congress crisis narrative. We have now the disaster over in Afghanistan playing out. We've got the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Can you say false flag? I mean, everything is now just coming. We're having a dollar crisis. We have an inflation crisis. Things are coming together as they should be, but it's going to be intense for sure in the next couple of months. Information's key, you guys. Getting information out will remain first and foremostly important. So Lisa, with that, do you want to hit the second slide?
Yeah.
Now this is a really, really, really good article. And it kind of wraps up where we stand as of now about the preliminary report should be released during the week of August 22nd. Now, what I don't know is when they say released, they're not saying if it's going to be released so that the public can view these results, or if it's going to be released to the Senate and held in confidentiality. I don't know. So we can't get our hopes up that we're going to have, information that we can see.
Right.
But something is coming this week, and it's going to show all of the data and the discrepancies that they have compiled to date. This is very important because Cyber Ninja is still being attacked as being a sloppy, no qualifications organization. They're even attacking their name. So the Cyber Ninjas has going to have to keep showing their process, their policies. If you watch the hearing, it was phenomenal. It was a full forensic audit. Mm-hmm. So that's yet to be revealed and proven in a court of law. Now, what's interesting is the Arizona Senate and the Attorney General Mark Bronovich expect a response from Maricopa County regarding an open investigation into their violation of legal and enforceable subpoenas. So meanwhile, the subpoenas of these routers is supposed to be heard by the judge on Friday, and he's supposed to make a decision because this is a direct violation. And as we know from 2 weeks ago, Lisa, they can't criminally hold the Board of Supervisors criminally liable for this because that one rhino threw us under the bus. But it doesn't mean that if the audit doesn't find fraud, then everything is off the table, and that's when we see people getting arrested. So that's where we stand up until Friday. And then once the subpoenas are enforced, which we'll know Friday, the auditors can move forward with a full forensic analysis of the routers, Splunk logs, voting systems, signature verification, voter records, and other security concerns. Now, what I think Karen Fann is waiting on, the reason why she is insistent on this, you guys, she wants everything done perfectly. So when it goes to the Supreme Court, nothing throws her out. She knows she's got one shot to prepare this case. And it's a shot that's going to be heard around the world. And I know she knows it. She came out on Twitter this week and she said, she made a little video. little personal video. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was so super cool. It was like a montage. And she explained what was happening to her personally and that her family had been threatened. She had been threatened. Her life had been threatened, white powder arriving at her offices. And she said, it was so interesting. She said, I will not let you down. She said, truth on my watch will come out. So that was last week. So she's still in the fight. So God bless her and send some prayers her way. She's our only dog in the fight right now, except for Wendy Rogers and a couple of other Congress people are full-on patriots. For those of you that want to see a patriot in action, follow Wendy Rogers on Twitter. Wendy Rogers, she's phenomenal. Okay. So that's what we have going on here, and it just recaps where we're at. It's a fabulous article for those of you that want to just see what's happening. Bear in mind, let's just recap. If B had won, none of this would be going on. We know who won, so the fight is real.
Yeah, they would not be hiding all this information.
Right.
Sure.
So that is where we're at with Maricopa. I'll keep you guys, we'll keep abreast of this story for sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens on Friday, and then
right.
And John Sackett had mentioned in the comments that Uncle Cliff had rising emotional tensions for the 21st through the 24th. So that falls in line with that 22nd, August 22nd date.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Lisa, oh my God, this is the recruiter in me. I have to look at a job listing from the Army. I think we need to see what our Army is looking to hire.
Okay.
Well, what do we have here, guys? We have an internment resettlement specialist that they're hiring for the Army. And this person, the overview is internment resettlement specialist, plural. They want to hire more than one, are primarily responsible for day-to-day operations in a military confinement, correctional facility, or detention internment facility. Mic drop. I saw this. I said, wait a second. Let me reread this. I've been reading job descriptions for 25, almost 30 years now. I had to reread this like 3 times because I couldn't believe my eyes. Job duties: supervision of confinement and detention operations, external security to facilities, someone to walk around the FEMA camp, counseling and guidance to individual prisoners. Note that they're calling prisoners within a rehabilitative program. How do you define rehabilitative program? What does that mean? Record of prisoners, internments, and their programs. Social scores, maybe. Who you voted for? We'll see. Requirements: those who want to serve must first take the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, a series of tests that help you better understand your strengths and identify which Army jobs are best for you. That's pretty standard for the military. And then it goes on to talk about the training. You need 10 weeks of basic. Okay, that's fine. And then you've got to know about military laws and jurisdictions, self-defense and use of firearms, interpersonal communication skills, search, restraint, and custody control procedures. Let me read that again. Search. Who are they searching? Where are they searching? Restraint. Who are they restraining? Why do they need to restrain anybody? This is America. And custody control. Note the word custody and control procedures. You've got to be physically and mentally fit. You've got to be able to make quick decisions. You've got to remain calm under heavy duress, and you have to have an interest in law enforcement. And then it goes on and on and on to talk about where these jobs are going to be hired, and what else is required.
So a couple things go through my mind because there's a lot of possibilities. This could be about this.
Yeah.
And those that will not comply.
Right.
It could also be about the people that they're flying over here right now, or the people that are coming up through the border.
Could.
Couple things. I also had recently seen, and I don't have it pulled up, but there's something similar to this that FEMA came out with. And we talked about it, and Sean and I talked about it, and you guys in the chat will remember. There's a name for it that the Texas governor had a few years ago when Obama was president, had called out and said, why are you guys putting these razor wire reverse on these old Walmarts? And they noticed that, and recently FEMA has made a statement again about possibly putting some, and I think they use the word internment camps up. So there is a statement. I wonder if I can find it. I probably can't find it this quickly. If somebody has the link to that, I'll try to find it. If not, I'll try to tweet it out later or post it.
Do you want to, Lisa, pull up the next video, the next screen that says FEMA camps?
Oh, maybe you have it.
I don't know if I do, but
today was my first day of homeschool, being a homeschool teacher, and I have not gone through your emails yet. So
that's all right.
Listen, a heck of a day. It's also
anybody
the anniversary of Mia's death. So today is our 4-year anniversary of her leaving. So it's been kind of a wild day. Let's see.
It's an angelversary for you.
An angelversary. So,
it's an angelversary for you, Lisa.
Yeah. So let's see. And a new start for Canon, and we've just had a heck of a day.
Right.
But it was a positive. It was a positive thing.
Sure. And don't worry, I got this. We'll work together. We're all working together.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it. It says FEMA camps right in the subject line. Yeah, it's right there.
Okay. Because this was my other thought of
Yeah. Okay.
And I know we have to be careful with our words and all that.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Then I'll be real careful. Okay. So this was something, you guys, that I saw on Twitter. And
I think a lot of this is just to scare us and distract us from what's going on in Arizona.
Yes.
And also to keep our eyes away from what's going on with the US dollar. Because there's also noise about that is a dead cat bounce, you guys. And they're wanting to Charlie, when I came home, he said something about, there was an article about quickly mentioning, and he couldn't find it, but something about they were running out of dollars or whatever, and possibly bank closures. And because they're trying to get everybody moved to that Fed coin, they're going to try to get everybody put on that Fed digital dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And so you might be looking at some of those banking holidays that I've been kind of talking about.
Right.
This is all going to kind of happen at one time. And like Amy's been saying, don't look over here, don't look over there. And so I think that maybe also public brought up, I kept having this gut thing about, remember those blow up tanks from World War II? If you guys don't know what that is, go Google it. They really did use inflatable blow up tanks to scare people during World War II and whatever. And when you look at some of these pictures that they're sending you from Afghanistan, he's like, and all these guys are happy running around. They don't look like they just fought some thing. They're not even sweating. There's no dirt anywhere. Some of the shots are really tight. I don't know that I can't tell how much of it's manufactured, if it's even really going on.
Right. Right. Well,
how much of it is a movie to be a distraction for us? So let's keep that as a possibility as well. So
And Lisa, that's so important to remember because I completely agree with you. I mean,
some of this really is just fear porn to distract us from what's really going on.
Exactly. To me, the fact that this Maricopa County information is starting to come out is there's no
And all this other stuff is ramping up. You know,
Look here, don't look there.
yeah.
And they want us, it's right out of the Nazi playbook to get us divided and fearful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not even making up their own playbook. They're just taken right out of the Nazi playbook.
Well, and all these big heads of state in all these countries, they're even ramping up the, what we're talking, what's on the screen right now.
Yeah.
That narrative, don't talk to your neighbors. Like they're even upping the game of don't even talk to your neighbors.
Right.
What do you mean don't talk to my neighbor? Like, it's just the level of insanity. So I think that it's just kind of going there because, I don't know. Just keep it in mind, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, Lisa. And this is so
Critical
important.
thinking is important.
And this is part of what on this show that I love about this show is we're kind of, it's like a thought experiment. We're all walking through this together. None of us in our modern day lives have experienced anything like this. And because I'm in the older bracket here, I grew up in the day. I mean, the freedoms were, I don't even feel like I was the same person because we had so much freedom. We had so much freedom. We didn't even lock our doors. I mean, we didn't do anything like that. We just ran wild in the neighborhood. I just had to be home at dark. It was like a completely different world. So I feel totally displaced, but each generation is suffering the results of this. But what's frightening is the younger people don't know what freedoms are anymore. So they're going to be easier to indoctrinate. And that's why, Lisa, I really applaud you for homeschooling Cannon because it's his only shot right now.
Yeah.
So what we have here is a little notice from the CDC is talking about, now note the language here, and Lisa, I'll try to be careful.
Okay, this is exactly what I would, this was.
Oh, is this what you were looking for?
Yes.
Oh, nice. So we were on the same mental wavelength. That's so cool.
That's
all right, awesome. I was reading your vibes.
Yeah.
The CDC is talking about putting high risk. Now, let's talk about high risk. Who's high risk?
Mm-hmm.
People in COVID camps and separating them from the general American population that they consider low risk. Okay. This reminds me of internment camps during WW2. Here's the link. So this is wrong. But what is the link that they're showing? They're showing the sun virus map of 2019. So what they're talking about, what you've got to assume here is that the CDC is saying people that are high risk are people that will not comply. That's the implied intent of this message, is that you are now high risk if you don't take the jab.
Interesting.
They're not coming out and saying it because they can't yet. They haven't done enough psychological, mental, and if you look at what's happening in Australia now, you guys.
Yeah. Did you hear they are putting 30,000 children in a thing you play football in? What is it called? Stadium. And the parents are not allowed. Now, once again, that sounds so insane. Is this just a movie? I have some friends who live in Australia. I think I may contact them and say, please tell me that like if someone came to take my child and told me they're taking my child and putting them in a stadium to jab them and I'm not allowed, that would not happen.
Yeah, there'd be a dead person at your door.
Yes, either me or them.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah.
Which we have to be careful because we'll get in trouble and I'll lose my channel for talking like that.
Yeah, I know. I can't incite things. Sorry. I'm already I'm already on the edge.
Everyone's very peaceful.
Very peaceful, very peaceful, very peaceful. But when it comes to a mother protecting her babies, that's a next level kind of a thing. And I get it. And the abuses against the children in regards to this are horrific, but we all know that. So what I wanted to show you. So what I want you guys to look at, and Lisa, there's one more. I'm going to have you skip the sequence here.
Okay.
I
Okay.
say one towards the top says we are terrorists. And I want you to open that up because that actually applies more to what we're talking about right now.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah.
This is unbelievable. I know most of you have probably seen it, but to look at it again, it's like never in my life, I'm the most law-abiding, American patriot person in the whole wide world. I know how to fold an American flag and like all that stuff. And then now I fit this profile right here. I fit this profile. So now my country that I love so near and dear is now turning on me. It's like it's turning on me. And it's really a mine FUCK of the first order. And this is why we really need each other so much.
I don't understand the third one, potential terror threats, 9/11 anniversary and religious holidays.
Right.
They're saying that the anniversary of 9/11 is a terror threat and religious holidays are a terror threat.
That's how I'm interpreting it, Lisa, but with these people, God only knows what their intended implication behind all this is.
Okay.
But it says breaking news, national terrorist alert. We're on an alert right now.
Just the fact that someone could believe that Trump could possibly be reinstated is a terror threat.
Well, the fact that his name is even on this alert alone is ludicrous.
Is a terror threat.
It's the whole thing is. Do you
Who
see?
put this out though?
This is the nightly news, NBC.
So this is the news. No,
Yeah, look at the logo.
But this is a. But
Look at
this
the
was
logo.
issued by the U.S. Department of
Homeland Security. Homeland Security. Yes.
Mm.
Yes. 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 So for those of you that maybe don't remember, too young, right after 9/11, George W. Bush put together an emergency department called the Department of Homeland Security to quote unquote protect us from the bad guys. Well, it was supposed to be like everything else, temporary, right? Just like Nixon said, closing the gold
Just
window.
like the taxes.
Just like everything is temporary, till 20 years passes by. And then what happens is it sets up a vehicle for them to grab more power. So they're funneling in all of this stuff because the department is now there. So they have this plan that once they put up one of these systems in place, it's a power grab and you're not going to get your power back. You're not going to get your freedoms back. That's why this is the moment. This is the appointed hour right now, you guys. This is the moment that every single one of us.
And all of these are not in the Constitution.
Correct.
These are all these, written
Correct.
up, like you said, created powers outside the Constitution.
Yeah. Yeah. What Constitution? They don't,
Yeah.
I mean, what are you talking about? They do what they want to do. We got to get that out of our head. No one's following the rules anymore. There's no rules for them. The deplorables and the terrorists, we get all the rules in the world. So you guys, when you're playing a game or you're playing a chess game, it's strategy and you got to understand the rules have been changed right underneath our feet. And to me, just my personal opinion, and one of the reasons I do this show and I do it proudly, is that the last bit of hope is information. So when this stuff starts happening, you won't be caught off guard. You won't have that rug pull moment. You won't be, you will have heard this. You'll be a little bit more on, you might be able to help someone who is a normie, who still thinks everything is wonderful and we're going to go back to normal and that inflation's only transitory.
Sorry.
Yeah. All right, Lisa,
Okay.
HR 4980.
You want not the tweet screenshot. You want the full.
Right, the other one. We'll first start with the
Okay.
with the actual.
I
Congress.
didn't know that this was the 117th session of Congress.
Mm-hmm. So this
I love
is
a little
yeah.
nod. So
Exactly.
Melissa.
Exactly. So this is an example of how they set up these systems to grab power. This is HR 4980 is a bill that they just put before Congress. And it is to direct the Secretary of Homeland Security to ensure that any individual traveling on a flight that departs or arrives to an airport inside the United States or a territory of the United States, territory meaning a British protectorate, okay, or some other protectorate, is fully vaccinated against COVID-19. And note they put this for other purposes. I love the way they sneak in this language to just, it's like a gotcha. Now, this here to me is horrific. And this is the stuff the Americans need to know what's going on, because they put these things inside these bills and then they get passed and then they get implemented. But here's the good news, you guys. Here's the good news. Every time a video like this is shared with someone and starts to see things and wake up, yes, things are horrific. They're going to get worse. But like Lisa and I spoke months ago, and Lisa, you said it directly. You said they're not in enough pain yet. They're not in enough pain. Well, we're approaching the pain point for the next 4 to 6 months. I do agree with Penny Kelly and some of these other psychic predictions and Cliff High, his data. I think the next 4 to 6, 9 months are going to be extremely trying on us. If we can keep, Lisa, this channel up and information coming, we'll be lucky. We'll be lucky. Because to me, if you don't have information, you're stabbing in the dark. And at my age, in my life, one of the lessons I've learned is knowledge is power. When I have knowledge, whether it's weather knowledge, flood knowledge, financial knowledge, medical knowledge, I was able to do an end run around the system. And I mean legally, to protect my best interest. The times in life when I got whacked, and I mean whacked, I didn't see it coming because I didn't know. So this is what we have here, and this is what we're faced with. So we're at this critical juncture. So this is this HR 4980. I don't know how we not pass it, but I think we need to understand that for all of us here very shortly in the United States, we may need, and approximately 60 people don't want to get the you know what. So that's to the numbers that I can tell. So this is going to be very interesting. Maybe someone needs to start their own commercial or private airline for people that are.
So I actually have a friend that I met in Miami that accepts cryptocurrency and has a private airline for people. So, and I'm going to be bringing him on and promoting that.
Good.
Because we just started the meetup that the Happy Hour Roadshow, followed by Crypto 101 classes the next day. We're still looking for some sponsors. We've got a couple, so we'll be doing that. But our first meetup is going to be in Kansas City on August 27th. Hopefully you guys can meet us. I've got the information running along the bottom. You can go to clintwestwood.net and find all the meetup information. You can also go to my Twitter, and it's in the pinned tweet to find more information. Hopefully we can see some of you guys out there. But I have made the decision that I'm not flying anymore. Watching people flip out and be duct taped to their seats, and having to wear the muzzles and all that. I don't know what's going on, but I think there's something going on with the airlines, and I don't feel that it's safe. I feel that you are trapped and on their agenda. And so I'm going to be driving everywhere.
Yeah. Good. Well, you've got a nice new car to do it in.
So yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a little tweet, Lisa, about this HR.
Okay.
I thought was kind of interesting. The bill introduces in Congress, and it bans tens of millions of Americans from flying, specifically ban on unvaccinated from ever flying. HR 4980 directs Homeland Security. This was the language I thought was so interesting. Directs Homeland Security to ensure anyone on a flight is fully vaccinated. Are they now going to be on the flights? As military type people walking around it. And if you're on an airplane, Lisa, and you're not, are they going to hold you down and do it on the airplane? I mean, is that part of the thing?
Well, they're already in some airports. When I was traveling this past year, like Chicago, I'm trying to think where else I saw them. I can't remember. I know I saw some in Chicago, some police or military people. But I don't know. It's just a weird world. My question is, so all these Afghanistan people coming in, are they going to jab them when they land? Or the
what
other
about,
thing is,
Lisa,
all the
hundreds
all
of
the
thousands
people
of
come-
people from the border?
yeah, because the minute they come up, our tax dollars are sticking them on airplanes. I can't remember all the different airlines that we're flying them on, but we're paying for them to be then flown all over the country.
Right.
So it's my understanding they're not even testing them, much less jabbing them.
Right, exactly. So this is a deployment. It's so upside down. Like sometimes I think I'm losing my mind when I do this research because I can't believe what I'm seeing. I just can't believe what I'm seeing.
And that's why I'm not sure that what we're seeing is what's actually going on. I mean, I do have a lot of skepticism to what we're seeing.
Right.
So we're reporting what's being reported. We're giving you guys information, but I do ask everybody to take a lot of this with a grain of salt and have some critical thinking of your own, and just remember that they've been lying to us for a long time. So,
and I always say this to you guys, I will tell you, I'm not 100, none of this stuff is 100% right. I'm just sharing with you what's out there.
Right.
So we can at least do the best we can, but I can tell you, we don't have a clue. And this brings me to my next, Lisa, death statistics. I want people to see this. This I grabbed before it went away. And I really apologize. I can't remember. I think this is from the CDC. Now, bear in mind, the CDC changes their website like I change, shoes 10 times a day. So I grabbed it, and I think it's from the CDC, but this is from January 1st to March 30th of 2020. These are the global deaths. This is the reason. Now, Lisa, if you scroll down, it is so interesting to see. Keep going down, keep going down. No, the source is the Worldometer info. And abortions are the #1 leading cause of death. And look at this. And yet they're shutting down the global economy for the smallest amount of deaths. That's what they're saying. I think it's a lot less because of the medical data fraud. It makes no sense when you get an argument from the normies that, like I was told that obviously I don't believe in science. That's what I was told because I'm refusing so I've been told that, obviously I don't follow and believe in science. And I said, no, I don't believe in medical data fraud. And that's what all this is. So this could be fraud too, but it helps put us into perspective that don't ever think for a minute that this is an epidemic that has killed hundreds of millions of people globally, because it hasn't. Don't ever let them sway you into that, because that's what they want to do with fear. So I thought that was just a little interesting statistic that was out there for just to put things into perspective.
I don't know that we'll ever know. I don't know. It's very interesting.
Right. I mean, until I see the body bags, I live right across the street from one of the largest hospitals in Phoenix. I've yet to see bodies lined up outside there trying to get in. I just walk by and I look in the ER. There's nobody there. I walk right by. I could see the whole front of the room there. Okay. I want to finish lastly with good old MSNBC. I had to leave on a high note. This is classic. This is just classic. I'm not even going to tell you what the title or how it's going to go. We'll be able to leave on this. Lisa, go ahead and start this. This is a short clip. It'll put a smile on all your faces. Good old MSNBC.
Okay.
So, Lisa, if you go down 2 screens, it'll play it. There we go. Yeah, right there.
I'll do its little commercial thing first. Is it after all this on this day in history?
No, it's I think that's an ad. Is that an ad? No.
Sometimes they'll play after this.
It starts here. I will show you what it looks like.
Hold on, I can't see you. Let me see if it starts playing after this, and I'll.
This is the one we want to look at.
No, that one's not it. This
Oh,
one?
there we go. Yep, there we go. That's it. You got
Okay.
it.
All right.
So I'm curious to hear your reaction of this consequential speech by the American president. Didn't run from it. He owned it. He owned his decision. He owned the fact that, as he put it, the buck stops with him.
I hope he gets to own their deaths too. I feel like I watched a different speech than the rest of you guys. I was appalled. There was such a profound, bold-faced lie in that speech. The idea that we planned for every contingency. I have been personally trying to tell this administration since it took office. I've been trying to tell our government for years that this was coming. We set them plan after plan on how to evacuate these people. Nobody listened to us. They didn't plan for the evacuation of our Afghan wartime allies. They're trying to conduct it now at the 11th hour. The thing that they were most concerned about was the optics of a chaotic evacuation. Well, they got exactly what they were most concerned of by failing to do what was right when we could have done it. We had all the people and equipment in place to be able to save these people months ago, and we did nothing. I'm appalled that he thinks we only need to take 2,000 people. There's 86,000 people who are currently left behind in Afghanistan alone. We've identified all of them for the government. I have no idea why he claims that people don't want to leave Afghanistan. I have a list of 14,000 names right now of people who want to get out of Afghanistan. And the idea that the Afghan military should be blamed for this, do you know how many casualties the Afghan military took in an average year? More than the United States did in 20. When you're not getting paid on a regular basis, when you're not getting fuel, when no one is supplying you with ammunition, and yet you're still showing up to the fight, how dare us for having to blame these people for not having the audacity to be able to survive a Taliban onslaught? No. What we need to be doing right now, and what I am appalled that the president didn't say, was we need to be talking about how we're going to get every single one of these people out.
So I'm curious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank God somebody's saying it. I just feel like that it's just been total.
Well, he calls him out right there on MSNBC, and when he said, I think we listened to 2 completely different speeches. He called him right out there and said he was a liar, and this, you guys, is the beginning of what I'm starting to see. I really believe that there's starting to be more and more people that are seeing the atrocities and the lies. It's a small, but we just have to keep moving in that direction. And so try not to lose your minds, stay informed, but don't watch that mainstream media. It's toxic. And there's a lot of really smart people that are saying by next year they'll be gone, like CNN will be gone.
I would be good with that. I saw, and I think several people have mentioned it by now, but that CNN was getting less than 1 million views in a week's time.
Yep.
And, so that was really encouraging. So I think more people are waking up, and I think, people like the people that are in the chat, our friends and family are doing the work, helping them, helping share the information. And I think that's all part of it. I think it's about community and us lifting each other up and sharing
Yeah.
that information. So,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So,
all right, we'll just keep going, keep going. We'll be back tomorrow on Woo Woo Wednesday with my buddy Public and be talking about our silver giveaway. We have a plan. Arcadia Economics is going to be partnering with us for the Happy Hour Roadshow, and we will be letting you guys know what our plan is for giving away the 50 ounces of silver. So,
nice.
yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.